السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. باب بر الوالدين وصلة الأرحام. We continue our book Riyad-us Saliheen by Imam Nawawi rahmatullah alayhi. We are on the 40th chapter of the book, and the chapter is with regards to great and honorable manners with our parents and joining of blood relationships. And the hadith is, وَنَبِي هُرَيْرَةَ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُ قال جاء رجل إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال يا رسول الله من أحق الناس بحسن صحابتي؟ قال أمك. قال ثم من؟ قال أمك. قال ثم من؟ قال أمك. قال ثم من؟ قال أبوك. أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. رواه البخاري ومسلم. وفي رواية يا رسول الله من أحق بحسن صحبتي؟ قال أمك ثم أمك ثم أمك ثم أبك ثم أبناء أبنائك. أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. So we continue from the chapter where we began a few days ago with regards to the rights and responsibility when it comes to parents and our relatives. The hadith is reported by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, and who mentions, and he says that a man came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and asked. And just a quick thought to remember, it is mentioned that usually it was the amal of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that when he would finish his Fajr Salah, the Nabi of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would come, and the Nabi of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would face towards the Sahaba. This was his amal, daily routine, that he would finish his Fajr, and then either he would most likely turn towards his right side or sometimes towards his left side, facing the congregation. And then the Nabi of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if he saw a dream himself, would say, last night I was inspired to see something, and this is what the ta'bir or interpretation is. Sometimes he would ask the Sahaba, did any of you saw a dream last night that you want me to do interpretation of? And he would answer their questions. And sometimes the Nabi of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would just share a thought, or sometimes the Sahaba would ask a question. The Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajma'in, as we know, that they loved the Nabi of Allah sallallahu, and there was always a sense of hijab, a curtain, because the respect, the honor, and the dignity of the Nabi of Allah sallallahu. But the Sahaba said the moments that really made us happy was when we would see a Bedouin, a Baddu, a villager, also in the congregation. Asked why? Because they said they had the least hijab, meaning they were very open in asking, meaning they did not have all these extra courtesies and other linings where they would openly say, "Ya Rasulullah, I got a question. I need to ask something." And they would say we would hold our thoughts, not that we would now be scared, but there was such a hijab that we wouldn't ask these questions. But the Bedouins were very open in asking questions to the Prophet ﷺ. So in this case, it does not really directly say if it was a Bedouin or it was a Sahabi, meaning a Sahabi from the city itself, but it says, one of the companions. Ja'a rajul, a man came and he said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I have a question. And he said, O the Nabi of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in our suhbah, in our relationship, in our companionship, we have to keep ta'alluq, we have to keep relationships. And who is the person that needs to be taken care of the most when it comes to our relationship? When it comes to bonding of relationship, who's the closest in keeping those relationships? And the Nabi of Allah ﷺ said, Ummak, your mother. Keep the closest of relationship when it comes to taking care of your relationship, it is your mother. So then he said, that's fine. Thumma, then after her, Ya Rasulullah, and the Nabi of Allah ﷺ said, Ummak, again, to emphasize the importance, your mother again. And then he asked again, Thumma, and then after that, Ya Rasulullah, the Nabi of Allah third time also mentioned Ummak, your mother. And then he asked, Ya Rasulullah, who after? And then the Nabi of Allah said, Abuk, meaning your father. In one tradition, he kept on asking. Where the Nabi of Allah mentioned, in one of the riwayah of Kanzul Umal, when the Nabi of Allah said mother 3 times, then the Nabi of Allah said father, and then the Nabi of Allah said your sister, and then your brother, meaning this is how the Nabi of Allah went with regards to taking care of relationship. In one riwayah, the Nabi of Allah said a person who has in his life married off his sisters, meaning in a time that they have been married, but a person still keeps husnul akhlaq and cares for them whenever they return, then that sister will be a door of Jannah for that person. Hadith of Rasulullah, that if a person continuously cares for a sister, even though she's been married, but cares for that person as a sister, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives that person Jannah. So again, ulama have mentioned why the 3 times. We have heard about this many times, but just as a reminder for ourselves, ulama have mentioned that there are 3 things that a mother does which a father does not. Yes, there's huge contributions. In the beginning, we talked about that the amount of kindness, the honor, the struggle that a father goes for their child, both son and daughter. There is no one on the face of this earth that will ever go through that. There is no one who could ever be as happy or more happier for success than your own father. No one in this world will ever be happy for our success more than our own parents, especially fathers. That if they see their own son in a better home, in a better car, just makes them more happier. There's no one in this world who will ever do this except for our parents. But why mother? Ulama have mentioned 3 things. Number 1, it is the mother that conceives and holds the child for 9 months. That a father does not know this. Yes, the father is there as a support, but the moments of those mothers and the restless nights, it's just her that Allah has given her that honor. That for these 9 months that a mother is going through, a father cannot, he can just imagine, but he can never know. Number 2, the pain and the difficulty of the birth of a child. You know, now people say these experiments and this and that, you can fake the pains and realize. But subhanAllah, the reality is only known between that person, meaning a mother, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of what a mother bears for the birth of a child. Number 2. And number 3, for 2 continuous years that a mother nursed a child. Right? The 2 years, hawlaini kamilain. It is only the mother that provides in such a manner, and how Allah provides. And ulama have mentioned that it's, the blessings of Allah and His qudrat and His fine mercy, that the exact temperature changes according to weathers, and subhanAllah, the ingredients within the milk changes because of the nourishment and the growth of a child itself. It is only Allah who provides to that mother that nourishment within the umbilical cord for 9 months, and then for 2 years, Allah makes that rabt and that ta'ala. 3 times the haqq that the Quran, the hadith mentions, the 9 months of the holding of a child, the birth of a child, the feeding of a child. That's why ulama had mentioned that 3 times the Nabi of Allah mentioned the haqq. The ulama had mentioned we should try our best to fulfill the haqq of both. If Allah blessed you with both of your parents and both of the doors of Jannah for you, work hard to serve all of them. May Allah forgive, may Allah forgive, may Allah forgive. If a person falls in a situation where you cannot take care of both of them at one time, in anything between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then make sure that you take care of your mother. And then of course, do not abandon your father. Do not abandon, but also do as much as you can. May Allah give us tawfiq and ability to fulfill the haqq and rights. Allow us to live our life according to the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.